And we're live. All righty. So welcome to this Thursday night cell activation patch, how to activate your original smart cells. I have an announcement to make. I've got my beautiful co-host here in Washington and Yelm, Carol. Thank you for joining us. You are amazing. So I love to see your joyous face. I get to see you often. And I want to make a little announcement, and we'll have more details at the end of this event. You can join our wait list because we are doing a special event in April. It'll be a Saturday night from 6 p.m. to Sunday at 8 a.m. And you will be learning about the cell activation patches. We will be doing an information question and answer session at the same time. It will be in the EE system here in Huntington Beach, California. And then there's a special treat that will take place during that event overnight as well, which stay tuned to the end to get more details. So right now, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and talk about the X39 mother cell activation patch. And our disclaimer, of course, is that the patches are not intended to treat, prevent, or cure any disease. We do not heal, cure, treat, or diagnose, nor do we offer protocols. The suggestions do not replace the diagnosis and treatment by a qualified licensed healthcare professional. We strongly recommend you consult with your doctor concerning your specific health challenge and treatment needed. So no medical claims are being made with the suggestions here. And with that being said, little FYI about the Food and Drug Administration. They've taken this position. We have a great relationship with them, by the way. And they come and they inspect our facilities every other year in the fall. And this last fall, they took the position that all claims surrounding stem cells and healing, even those from natural products, will be regarded as drug claims. Imagine that. And so they also assert that claiming that the use of light to elevate peptides such as GHKCU is inappropriate for a general wellness product. As a result, we can't say that anymore, even though we have 90 clinical studies that show that in the US and Europe and Asia, all 90 clinical studies showed that we, in fact, do effectively activate stem cells through the use of this stem cell activation patch. But we can't call them stem cell activation patches anymore because they don't want us to. So we're going to play nice and we will call them cell activation patches instead. So that being said, all of this is possible because of, if you go back in history about 50 years, Dr. Lauren Picard in 1973, he discovered that GHKCU copper peptide activates 33% of your previously dormant stem cells, turning genes to a younger, healthier state. And that makes us beg the question, what are stem cells? Because a lot of people don't really know what stem cells are. They don't really know what they do, what significance, what difference is one cell versus the other in your body. And actually, there is a big difference between your stem cells and the rest of the cells in your body, because you have 56 trillion cells in your body, but you are born with 23,688 genes and stem cells at conception. Kind of a big difference, barely 24,000 as opposed to 56 trillion. And then it takes about a 7-year period to turn over all 56 trillion cells, so that your bones take 2 years, your stomach takes 6 months, your skin takes a few days. Everything has a different schedule. But over the course of 7 years, the majority of the 56 trillion cells have turned over, so that 7 years from now, if I go back 8, 9, 10 years ago, none of the cells that are in my body right now were in my body 8, 9, 10 years ago. All these cells are at best 8, 7 years old, right? So something to think about. But your stem cells, you start off with 100% of them. And as you're aware, we'll talk about what happens as we age. The thing to know about these almost 24,000 cells is that they are pluripotent, which means that they have many potentials. These are the master smart cells of the body, okay? And if you look at conception, when your mother's ovum just took one egg that was released from from the ovary, right? One little egg, and then there's 16 million sperm that are competing, and the strongest one, the fastest one, is the one that makes it to that egg. And then at conception, you have the complete information to the tune of 23,688 genes and master smart cells that begin to form you in your mother's womb and grow you with all that master smart programming, form you into an embryo, then a fetus, then a newborn baby. Then we take a few trips around the sun. We blink our eyes a few times, and here we're on this broadcast on YouTube and Zoom. That's kind of how it happens. That's the short version, of course, right? And what you might not know is that you're born with almost 24,000 of these genes and smart cells. And by the time you're 30 years old, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe this, but at 30, 50%, boom, they turn off. It's like lights off, like this. Let me do a little demo. Lights on, lights up. Oh, so much darker when 50% are off, right? But that's what happens for every decade of life that continues on. When you reach 60, it goes 50% off, 60, 70, 80. Then you reach 90% off by the time you're 60 years old. And then that remaining 10% of those master smart cells are going to take you all the way to the finish line, however long that might be, 80, 90, 100, 110 years. Heck, we have a lady here in California. She's 116 years old. Believe it or not, she just celebrated a birthday last month. And so your body is like a home, and inside your body, those master smart cells are like printer ink cartridges. When you have 100% of your ink and your smart cells, then the copies are identical. They're indistinguishable from the original. But when you have used up 80, 90% of those original ink cartridges, or 80 or 90% of your master smart cells, then the copies are faded versions of the original. That is, until you turn on the switch by applying this mechanical device called the cell activation patch, and that's going to turn on a third of your previously dormant cells. And moving on here, if you look at your body, the way these master smart cells work, and more importantly, how do the patches, how does this patch work? Well, the way it works, our body has light. We have every single one of those 56 trillion cells have electrons in them. And the fluids of our body, like our blood and the cerebral spinal fluid, have electrolytes. Electrons and electrolytes are packets of electricity. So flowing through our body, we are light beings, quite literally. We're infrared light beings, in fact. And when you take this mechanical device and then you apply it to your body, wherever you have skin, even on top of your head, even though you have hair, it works on the bottom of your feet, the top of your head, anywhere on your body. And this mechanical device is going to behave like a diamond crystal, so that now the light, let's say if I were to flash a flashlight onto a diamond crystal, you'll notice that all the light from this diamond crystal, it's going to reflect back. It's mirroring back the light from the flashlight back to your eyes, and you see it sparkle, right? Pretty cool if you think about it. That's why I think one of the reasons why we all love diamonds is because that beautiful sparkling effect. Same thing happens when you take this mechanical device, which your body is the battery, you're the power source for this mechanical device. This is just mirroring back your infrared light. And the crystals are organic crystals. They're organic sugar crystals, salt crystals, hydrogen, oxygen, water, and a proprietary blend of organic amino acids. And those crystals are geometrically arranged in a very specific grid lattice work. And each one of the crystals are programmed with a specific frequency to create the effect of the mother cell activation patch, pure and simple. And that begins this quick, rapid repair, because as you turn on a third of those previously dormant master smart cells, you have this rapid regeneration, reparation, and restoration that takes place in the body. So let's talk about, that's called that process of light reflecting back from your body onto the patch and back. Anytime your body receives light and it's reacting. That's called photobiomodulation. We see that in the plant world, photosynthesis. Photobiomodulation, that big word means photo, light, bio, biological. Modulation is movement and change, right? And so let's talk about phototherapy, because it's been defined as the use of ultraviolet light, which is what we have inside our bodies, which coincidentally or not so coincidentally is like the sun. The sun is 43% UV light. And it's the use of that UV light for its healing effects. And these patches have been very specifically designed to reflect the light in the infrared and visible light bands back onto the skin where this patch has been placed. The moment you apply the patch, your infrared light bounces off of this crystal lattice and it reflects back, mirrored back inside your body up to 4 inches deep. And it goes through the tissue, through the bones, the cartilage, the muscle, goes through the bone, into the bone marrow, down to the cellular level inside your body, activating a third of your previously dormant stem cells. And supported by normal electrodermal skin conductance, the human body gives off a number of materials biochemically, including particulate release, which are tiny little particles, gas emission, ultraviolet, infrared, near-infrared, and visible spectrum of light. This then stimulates that particular area of the skin, whether it's your arm, whether it's the temple, producing improved physiological effects. And there's been variations of this phototherapy that's been used for at least, actually well over, we have documented well over 100 years. In fact, in that time, there's been little evidence of any kind of negative side effects, which shows that it's a very safe and effective modality to repair and restore the body. So the first documented use of photobiomodulation was back in 1895. It's well over 100 years ago. And in 1903, Niels Ryberg-Finsen, he actually won the Nobel Prize for his research using red light to treat tuberculosis of the skin. And in his experiments with mice, he found that exposing them to red light reduced both their symptoms and mortality rate from lupus vulgaris. That's really extraordinary if you think about it. Before the turn of the century, in 1895, this took place. And here we are in 2024 as of this live broadcast, and people are just now, mainstream, general population are starting to hear about photobiomodulation or phototherapy, thinking that it's something cutting edge and new. And the reality is this technology is cutting edge and new, but the use of light to repair and restore the body is not brand new. The Egyptians, the Incas, the Mayas, the Taoists, the Buddhists, the Sufis, the Shaolin monks have been using this for thousands of years. And so let's talk about here how I want you to notice that these are non-transdermal, so nothing transfers into the dermis being the skin. They're non-invasive. Those crystals are not absorbed by your skin. Again, they're a mechanical structure that are programmed with a frequency arranged in a very specific grid work and lattice pattern to create the effect that the mother cell activation patch does to turn on your master smart cells of the body. So they're not invasive, they're organic, they're holistic, they're FDA compliant, class 1 medical devices. They're under the general wellness category, and we do manufacture these products in FDA registered facilities in the US, and our facility in Ireland, in fact, is registered with the Irish Medicine Board. We manufacture our products to the same standards as a medical device. And in fact, our facility in Ireland is ISO 9001 and 13485 compliant. And those are actually quality standards. Super important. One of the foundations, cornerstones of health and wellness is to drink water, to keep hydrated. Because when we come out of our mother's womb, we're about 82% hydration because we came out of the womb where we were swimming in amniotic fluid. So we come out kind of juicy, right? Fast forward to the average American who's 60, 65 years of age, you're only about 55% water. But from conception till the end, your DNA is 92% water. Water is the primary structure that holds your chromosomes, your DNA erect inside the human body. And as long as you're keeping hydrated, things are working well. But when you don't, things begin to shrink in the body, like the brain. The brain begins to shrink because your brain is very water loving. It's hydrophilic. It's about 75% or more composition is water. You get dehydrated, it begins to shrink. A lot of people then will get headaches or migraines from just simply being dehydrated. When you're 2% dehydrated, you will feel thirst in your mouth. At 8%, wait till you see what happens at 8%. But another thing that happens when you're dehydrated is that your proteins, boom, they fold in half. They interrupt something inside your body called the Krebs cycle. You don't need to remember that. What's important is that proteins fold. When you realize, oh, I'm starting to feel thirsty, I better drink water. I don't want those proteins to fold, because guess what? That is the beginning of disease. It's the beginning of symptoms and malfunctions of the body. Because when your proteins are folded, they don't work. Just like you. If you were folded in half with your head down to your knees and you had to do anything, you couldn't feed yourself, you couldn't dress yourself, you couldn't go to the bathroom, you couldn't take a bath, you couldn't drive a car. I could not do this broadcast. You can't do a lot of things when you're folded in half, and neither can your proteins. Super important to drink and to keep your body hydrated with water. Now, at 8% dehydration, on the left, this is someone who's properly hydrated. So you see that the helix strand is properly, it's holding upright, it's erect, it's straight, it's stable, it's properly functioning because it's properly hydrated. But the person here to the right is 8% dehydrated. The DNA starts to unravel. It literally starts to fall apart and demyelinate. All demyelination means is that the covering on the outside of the DNA strand starts to disintegrate and fall apart, which is not a good sign. At 10%, you lose your mind. Your brain cannot work. You cannot think. And at 12%, you die. Nobody can survive 12% dehydration. So let's talk about how long are you going to wear these patches. And you're going to wear a brand new patch, a new X39 every morning. You apply the patch, and then you're going to wear it for 12 hours from sunrise to sunset. And then let's say you started at 9 a.m. in the morning. You applied your patches, your little alarm goes off. You see them on the left-hand side of your bathroom counter. You're like, there's my X39. Oh, that's right. I got to put that on. You apply it. And then 12 hours later, after sunset, 9 p.m. at night, you remove them. Is 9 a.m. or p.m. the only time you can wear them? No. I have people that get up at 3:30 in the morning. They put their patches on at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I have other people that don't apply their day patches on until 1 p.m. in the afternoon, because they wear them from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. because they are night owls. They like to stay up late. As long as you can be persistent and consistent with wearing them, that's all that really matters. And you want to put them on at about the same time every day. And wear it for 12 hours consecutively from morning till evening. And then you remove them, matching the 12 hours that you signaled your body. So it's 12 hours, those floodlights are on. 33% of your master smart cells. You have all these construction workers that are doing this remodeling job inside and outside of your body. Then it's time to let them rest and let your body rest and restore and repair itself. Then it's 12 hours off until the next morning. Oh, by the way, it's good to note that when you're just the tender age of 25, which makes sense once you know that, makes sense now that by the time you're 30, 50% of your master smart cells turn off, not because they're damaged, not because they're destroyed, not because they disappear. They simply go dormant as a function of age. But 5 years prior, when you were just 25, your fibroblasts, which are responsible for your production of collagen, those begin to take a nosedive. They begin to decline instead of staying steady. So just something to think about. Let's take a look at this gal here. She had scoliosis. We don't make any medical claims, like I said before, but this is the reports of one of the gals that we have on the patches. And she was on X39, which is the mother cell activation patch, and also Ice Wave, which is the only patch we have that doesn't repair. It has the therapeutic effect of turning off pain receptors. So while your cellular regeneration and repair is taking place, you have pain relief. So now you have that going on. And over a period of 4 weeks, you can see that she began with a very pronounced curvature of the spine. You could see how she has a much more marked waistline on the right than she does on the left, clearly higher shoulder on the left than on the right, and her scapula, both of her shoulder blades on the back of her are protruding from the back, and you could see the curvature of her spine. And it's kind of like going in this direction, kind of slanted like this. On the right, just 4 weeks later, you will notice her shoulder blades are much flatter. Her spine is much straighter. Her pain was greatly reduced. You'll also notice that she now has a nicer, more symmetrical hourglass figure where it's not just cinched on one side and kind of straighter in the other. So you see that improvement, but she had no pain after 4 weeks of being on the patches. Here we have a gentleman suffering from a condition where he has an inconsistent amount of regulation of melatonin. Melatonin is what not only gives our skin color, it gives in our eyes. Melatonin produces melanocytes in our eyes and the iris to give you eye color. In the brain, you have melanopsin, which are in the different receptors of the brain. We have the regulation of melatonin also creates your ability to be able to go to sleep because melatonin puts you to sleep. Serotonin wakes you up. So it's part of your circadian rhythms of not only your wake and sleep cycle, or sleep and wake cycle, I should say, but it also has to do with the circadian rhythms of the other organ systems of the body as well. And over the course of 1 year, you can see the dramatic improvement. And also, I might add, he also is very rejuvenated. Not only did he even out the melatonin in his skin, where his skin is now evened out, but you could see that a lot of the fine lines and wrinkles started to disappear. And you can also see that he looks much more youthful after just a year of being on these patches. Here we have a gal who had really severe autoimmune disorder. And of course, people are impressed. First of all, her autoimmune disorder was due to 3 breast implants. And for 33 years, she suffered a lot of grief, a lot of pain. But she got started on the patches in January of 2022 when she was the young age of 62 years of age. She's now 64. And you can clearly see the dramatic improvement from January to July. She had all these wrinkles and lines from January. They lessened over the 6th month, reaching the 7th month, where in the 6th month, she still had a little hint of lines, but in the 7th month, all the lines are gone, wrinkles gone. And of course, that's not just her neck and her chest, it's her entire exterior, which is also showing us that on the inside of the body, you also have that phenomena. I might add that to me, she looks like she's only 35, 40 years old because, of course, it extended to her face and so forth. So she got an overall remodeling job, if you will, on the inside as well as the outside of the body, because after 7 to 10 months, she had no signs of her autoimmune disorder. All the symptoms, all the pains, all the things that caused her grief and anguish, all of them disappeared. And so she is much happier and better. Here we have another gal, Gail Henry, who had a kind of a severe curvature of the spine, so much so that her curvature created a fold of flesh on her back. And you can see that in less than 2 months of her wearing just the mother cell activation patch, not only did her spine straighten out, you can see how the spine is still crooked, but it has straightened out to the point where she doesn't have the fold of flesh anymore. So that is pretty significant. The fold was here before, and now it's gone. You can also see that all the oxidative stress that she had that was presenting itself as moles, freckles, angiomas. Angiomas are these red type moles here. You could see an increase in the quality of the texture and the disappearance of a lot of that oxidative stress in just 2 months of her wearing these patches. It's quite exciting. So let's talk about this mother cell activation patch. And it's, of course, it resets the short story for those of you who just want the bottom line. It turns on 1/3 of your previously dormant master cells, and it begins this rapid regeneration and repair and restoration inside of your body. Nothing is left out, from detoxing to anything that is injured, anything that has been damaged by whatever means. It could be an accident, could be a surgery, it could be self-inflicted, it could be, doesn't matter what it is. It could be radiation poisoning. This is going to help unring that bell. For those of you who are more detailed, It's going to regenerate those cells, replacing damaged cells with new cells, restores collagen, the building block protein of the body inside and out. It's going to rebuild scar tissue by replacing scar tissue and lesions with the original tissue. So if you have a scar, your scar is going to disappear over time, like mine did. I had a scar from my ankle to my knee. I no longer have that scar. It's awesome. Reduces fine lines and wrinkles, like you saw with Kathy. Increase energy, increase sexual libido, antioxidants, anti-aging, anti-inflammation. 3 to 4 minutes after applying these patches, you'll get to 100% pain relief. You'll also experience over time, it doesn't happen in the first 30 to 60 days, but over time, if you stick with it, you wear the patches for at least a year, year and a half. We've seen people who have went from white hair to from white, predominantly gray hair. Over time, their hair not only got thicker and fuller, and I've even had people who were completely bald, who went from being bald to growing hair. I'll show you a picture of Chris in just a moment. In fact, now I'm thinking I should probably throw that picture of Chris in here, the before and after, because he lost all of his hair due to chemo and radiation. And he has quite the story. So we put the patches on traditional Chinese medicine acupuncture points. So I want everyone to take their dominant hand, whether you're watching live or on YouTube or on Zoom, you're going to take your dominant hand, touch the back of your neck. And as you touch the back of your neck, touch your spine, you go to the bottom of your neck, the top of your spine, you're going to notice that bump. That bump is in fact called GV14, which is a very powerful acupuncture point. That's where your brainstem branches down into your spinal column, and it signals through your spinal cord, your autonomic nervous system, and it sends signals all throughout your body. Very powerful acupuncture point. It's one of the 2 spots that we recommended all the subjects in our 90 clinical independent studies that were done in the US, Europe, and Asia. The second spot we recommend is below the belly button, just 3 finger widths below your belly button. That's conception vessel 6. Conception vessel 6 has to do with all things related to conception, reproduction, your endocrine system, digestion. And so you have the alternative of not just using those 2 points. The patches work anywhere on the body, but we recommend that you use either of those 2 spots to apply the X39. And so this is a recommendation, not a protocol. We call this a true plan of action, a recommendation. I like to call it a veritas concilium because medicine, we like to use Latin words for everything. Just a reminder, of course, so by the way, remember to drink your water from the time you wake up until you go to sleep. Kind of think of like rain. When you have rain, you're not like pouring a ton of water on any plant and drowning it out. No, the rain comes over a long period of time and it's trickling water. So you want to have your water measured out the night before so that as you begin your next morning and you start to drink your water, you're going to drink, 5, 6, 7, 8 ounces of water in the morning when you first get up. Before you go brush your teeth or do anything, you're activating your metabolism. It's fantastic to activate your metabolism, right? And you're breaking the fast from not being hydrated from the day before. Now you drink until you're satisfied, not full, just till you're satisfied. Go do your business, brush your teeth, shower, go to the bathroom. 30 minutes later, you're probably going to have to go to the bathroom again because you just drank that water. Then you're going to rehydrate after you go to the bathroom, get another douse of water till you're satisfied, and you're on your merry way, just making sure that you continue to drink your water. See, this is what I have left for the remainder of this day is just this water bottle. This is the second of my water bottles, and I'm going to take a little drink. Not necessarily to demo, but because I'm talking, it does sometimes dry you out a little bit. Okay, so we talked about that. I don't know why I have 2 in the row that are the same here, but that's probably just an oops. All right. Next thing to know is, are you aware that blue light toxicity that you get from your computer, desktop, laptop, iPad, notepad, cell phone, doesn't matter. Did you know that that blue light destroys your DHEA fountain of youth hormone? Did you also know that LED lights from your home, from your kitchen, from your car, from traveling in a plane, in a train, in a boat, in a yacht, in a catamaran, a Duffy boat, doesn't matter what kind of vehicle it is. It could be a tractor because construction equipment also, those have LED lights too. Any place that you're out in public, office, whether it's an office, supermarket, any place with business, they all have LED lights. They have fluorescent lights, halogen lights. Those destroy your fountain of youth hormone called DHEA. Not good. It also causes inflammation and insulin resistance. So if you think about the proliferation of all the LED lights, fluorescent lights, halogen lights that we've had over the last 25, 30 years, no wonder we have so many more people with diabetes, type 1, type 2, not to mention type 3 diabetes and more. Make sense? All right. So how much does this cost? Well, I will tell you, my friends and gems, you can get costs that, first of all, this doesn't cost you $1 million, although some people would gladly pay $1 million to repair and restore their bodies to a younger, healthier state. And of course, traditional stem cell therapies by IV and injection run anywhere from $8,000 to $25,000 a session. And you can get started on the path of activating your smart cells for just $5 a day, because a 1-month supply of this retails for $149 a month, just $149. 5 times 30 is $149.95 per month. But we can show you how you can get that for less. If you go to our website, of course, get back to the person who referred you to this video. If you go to their website, you'll see that it's $149 for one. For 2 of these, that would be $300, right? But guess what? You can get 4 for the price of 2 when we put you on a Dr. Wholesale pack. The only way to do that is to get back to the person who referred you to this video so that we can show you how you can get started on either a silver pack. If you want to save as much as 50%, then of course, our diamond pack, when you buy, you're basically buying them in bulk at this point. That saves you quite a bit of money by doing that. Instead of $2,850, you're paying pretty much half, $1,599, which is a big difference. So in closing, if you want to learn more, or if you want to read the 90 clinical studies, you can go to startx39now.com. And you can ask the person who referred you to this video how to get started, how you can get started now on a 90-day trial with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now, I will say this, if you're going in with the mindset, it's like, oh, I'm just going to try it for 30 days. And if I don't see results, or if I don't feel results, or if the heavens don't part and, rainbows, triple rainbows don't pop out of the sky, then I'll just return it. Then don't even bother. Although many people do see results in the first 10 minutes, in the first 30 seconds. There's one patch wonders out there, like our friend Carol, who 10 minutes after she applied her patch, her atrial fibrillation, her high blood pressure, her pulse all normalized, and her pain was dramatically reduced. Not everybody has those kind of results. But even a bad habit, I want you to think about this. Even a bad habit takes about 90 days for you to get a bad habit. And your body, it didn't take a few minutes for you to have whatever it's presenting that's a pain point for you in the body. It does take time. There's only so many cells that can turn over in a 24-hour period. In fact, out of the 56 trillion cells that you have, we turn over 2 billion cells of the 56 trillion, just a tiny fraction of the 56 billion cells that we have. So it's going to take time to turn over those cells and then to get those different systems that are out of balance to bring them back into balance. So I tell people, when we put you on a Dr. Wholesale pack, on the retail side, you have to commit to a 6-month auto ship. But when we put you on a Dr. Wholesale pack, you're making a commitment to yourself, because on a Dr. Wholesale pack, you get to have your cake and eat it too. You have no minimum requirements. You don't have to be on a monthly shipment order. There's no mandatory having to buy them in bulk. You get started, and if you want to buy them, buy them outright at each month, and you don't want to worry about the reminder. Most people want to go on an auto ship so they don't have to think about it, and they don't want to run out of patches because they don't want to delay. Any day that you're not putting the patches on, you're not getting that cellular repair. So they want to make sure that for the next 12 months, the next 365 days, you're signaling your body so that 12 months from now, oh my gosh, for people who do the blood test 90 days after they start, 6 months after they start, 9 months, and then 12 months. Trust me, you will be impressed with the numbers, and your doctors will make comments and go, how is this? Oftentimes they go, how is this even possible? So that the proof is in the pudding, but also sometimes people will really feel it quite drastically, and others not so much. Everybody's body's different. So it depends what's going on in your body, of course. So that being said, for those of you who I invited you, if I invited you, then of course you can reach out to me. We'll send you the 2 Get Started text. If you were invited by someone on my team, then just mention that person, because we want to make sure that that person can still, again, you want to make sure you get back to that person. We can still help you in getting started. This is you can call that number. It transcribes it to me. Have grace and mercy, because this is not a high-tech number. This is a regular number that goes to my cell phone. So I physically have to respond back to you. So I need at least 24 hours to get back to you. And I do check the number every day. And I do respond to every call, to every text that comes forth. Last but not least, you can go to this YouTube channel. For those of you who are watching here on YouTube, please like this and hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a new video, you're going to be informed. Also, that's Love and Money Secrets TV. For those of you who aren't sure what it looks like, this is what my YouTube channel looks like. I want to show you another little screenshot here of what the bullet points are, because some people like to take screenshots of the bullet points to keep for safekeeping. And I do want to mention, we already talked about having you get back to the person who referred you to this. And I do want to encourage those of you from all over the world. Many people come to Huntington Beach, Surf City, because we have a lot of cool things that go on year round. I'll admit it's not just during our summer months, because we have pretty good weather here. Of course, we've got the surfing pro, we've got golf, and we've got pickleball and all sorts of other cool things. But I am starting a waiting list, and we are doing a special event in the month of April. It's going to be on a Saturday, from Saturday night to Sunday, starting at 6 p.m. It'll go till 8 a.m. the next morning. We're going to be doing an information question and answer session under the EE system here in Huntington Beach. And we also have another special thing that we'll be doing for everyone who comes. It will be a paid event. So join the wait list, because you get both and. You're going to be under the EE system, which is scalar energy. You will be patched, and you will also experience a very cool surprise as a result of signing up for this. But we are taking names, and then we will contact you and let you know. It's probably going to be, let's see, I've got some traveling at the beginning of April. So it'll probably be either the third or fourth Saturday in April. And right now we're just taking people on the wait list. There's only 14 spots, and I already have 3 or 4 people that have already RSVP'd. So it's only been announced like a few hours ago. So I want to make sure that anyone who wants to, please let me know as soon as possible. And then we will be taking payments for that, because we need to make sure that every spot is reserved. There's only 14 people that are allowed in this overnight session. All right, my friends and gems, thank you for your time and attention. Does anybody have any questions? Great to see you, Dan, Carol, Carolyn. Any questions?
No, it sounded very good. You did a good job, as usual.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank
no,
you.
no questions, Lillian. I talked to Cora, you know her as Phyllis Miller, today, and she was all excited to get things rolling in a new level, and really appreciate your input on that.
Yeah, you know she won.
Hear some of that from you.
Yeah, you know she won a free sleeve, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious if you got it yet, because I don't know how many days it takes for things to mail, for you guys to receive it. So
yeah, we actually got it yesterday. I think that we sent you a text that you may or may not have found. I imagine you get a deluge every day.
I do. It takes me a while to find in all the places, like my regular cell, the 949 number, Facebook Messenger, Telegram, TikTok. So yeah, it takes me a while to get through all the messages, but 24 hours, within 24 hours, I usually get them all. So I'm glad that you got yours already, because I just mailed that out on Saturday. So that's cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Carolyn. All right, my friends and gems. Hey, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, reach out in the comments below if you want to find out how you can win a sleeve of X39 or a supportive patch. Just ask me below, and I'd be more than happy to respond and let you know, because both Carol and Dan, as well as their friend Cora, won a free sleeve of patches, which who doesn't love free? We all love winning free stuff, myself included.
Yeah, free's good.
Free is
Yeah,
good. Free is fun. Yeah.
yeah.
Almost $100 a sleeve, so it is very, very fun to get that. All right, my friends and gems. Ciao for now. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you.
Always, bye.